spirit is rising, she's rising, she's rising. The spirit is rising, it's rising, it's rising. The spirit is rising, they're rising, they're rising.
Hi, Coven.
Oh, hi, Kevin. Welcome to the Missing Witches Prescription. This is a weekly mini episode that I, Risa Dickens, and my co-conspirator and life partner in Missing Witches get together to record for you, partially to give each other, a little insight into what's been working for us, what helps us keep our magic alive, our head above water, breathing and surviving when the snow is deep or when we're crushed by inequality in the world or, the death cult of late stage capital. Like, what fucking works? How do we survive? And to share that with you so that we can all continue to survive and re-enchant the world. That's the idea. What's working
Maybe
for you
it's a
this
lofty
week?
goal.
It's a lofty goal, but at least we talk to each other every week. That helps me.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
For me, what's been working is an examination of connection. I had like an acquaintance sort of just like message me and be like, "Hey, I'd like to see you. Can I pass by?" And my favorite kind of visit, it's like 2 hours and a cup of tea, and then we're finished. Perfect. I was like, yeah, I love when an acquaintance becomes a friend. I'm very happy for this to happen.
Yeah.
And then I was listening to some Bjork, which I always do. Bjork is one of my like most collected artists, and I pulled out her most recent record, For Sorrow, which has this whole like mycelial
Yes.
theme, and it's
Oh my
super
gosh,
beautiful.
the fungi are goddesses in this. It's so beautiful.
So beautiful. And the song Atopos, like the opening line is, "Are these not just excuses to not connect?"
Yeah.
And I was listening to this, and then at the same time thinking about this person who reached out and was like, let's have a cup of tea together. And then I went further into it, and I was remembering when we first launched the weavers aspect of this Missing Witches project and Coven, and I posted
The weavers, for folks who don't know,
Thank you.
so we have membership tiers, and they're mostly just like, can you afford this one or can you afford this one? Everybody come. It's really nice to just be together, and you have value regardless of what level you're at. But Weavers is like the almost highest tier, and the magic there is like an extra circle meeting together and an intentionality around supporting each other's projects. So like speaking your projects, whether that's professional or just human life growth projects, like having a group of people that you can speak them out loud to even as they change, and to have people support you in those projects, and for us to offer the support that we can of the audience and network that we've built through Missing Witches, and just also to be in a smaller group of witches together, because the new moon circles are like rowdy with magic now. Like, oh my gosh, over 20 people. They're so fucking magical.
They really are. They
Yeah.
really are.
Anyway, that's the gist, just for folks who wonder what that's about. Come, bring your
Thank you.
projects.
Thank you so much for that embedded footnote. It was missing definitely. So that, like you were saying, the original intention of it was like, let's make a smaller group where we can really hands-on action items support and facilitate each other. And again, not limited to like economic projects, but anything that you really feel like it's important for you to be working on anyway. So I posted back in the day when we started this TED Talk. I want to make sure I get the title right. I love a TED Talk. Risa, do you love a TED Talk?
I'm okay.
You're okay. I think when they first came out, it was like almost revolutionary, and now it's a bit, everything gets watered down.
Yeah, I think I'm just having like a skeptical day. I think on another day I would be like, I would have just listened to a great TED talk and we would be like, I fucking love a TED talk, public education in the world, reclaiming public space. But today, I'm just okay about TED talks.
You feeling a little salty today? That's okay. That's
Yeah,
okay. Holler.
yeah.
Yeah, whatever. TED Talks or whatever, be it what it may. But this particular TED Talk is by a woman named Barbara Scher, and it's called Isolation is the Dream Killer.
Mm,
And it's about this same thing, how connections are how we facilitate our dreams coming true, because you
mm,
might just happen to know somebody who knows somebody who knows exactly how to make this dream come true. And I was thinking about this because the person who came to visit me was saying that like she didn't think that she had enough like quote unquote, formal education to do the job in the field that she wanted to do. And then she happened to be talking to someone who was there at a place with another person who was in that field and assured her that actually, yes, she does have the qualifications to do this and she should start applying today. So all of this, the theme of all of these babblings that I'm doing right now are connection, just like,
yeah.
you know, um, and not making excuses not to connect. Thank you, Bjork, for the double negative, but I think it's a really important double negative, like not making excuses to not connect.
Yeah, I'm here for that. I need that reminder. I had a strange morning and I'm like emotional today. So I'm listening to like sad songs today. There's a lot of snow and ice here. I just paused and laughed because I can hear Mark on the roof shoveling the roof above me. He doesn't know that I'm podcasting right now. So we might have like kind of perfectly appropriate background ASMR. There's so much snow and ice. And I was driving back on these like it's dumping snow again. And there's so much snow. You have to if you pull up to a stop sign, you have to roll forward like a good 6 feet to be able to see around the towering snowbanks to see if there's cars coming. And then you're sliding at every stop. Like the road is thick with ice and compacted snow. And yeah, there's layers of sand in there, but like you can't see the road. And then there's now a new slippery pile of loose snow on top. It's so much. And then I'm on these twisty, tight roads where already cars go close to each other. They're one lane roads, so cars go close to each other when you pass. But now they're so tight that both cars are driving in the middle. And when you see each other, you pull back over so that you both have room to pass. But there's so much snow and it's loose. And anyway, it's strange, slippery driving out there. It's gray days. And then I was on my way back. I was on a tight, twisty part. I was glancing in my rearview mirror and then turned and looked back, and there was an ice boulder. Remember you were talking about how you spent a day moving ice boulders last week or the week before? There was an ice boulder right in my path. Like it would have come up almost to my waist. And then if you like turn too hard, you'll lose control because it's so slippery. So I tried to go around it.
It's my nightmare.
I tried to go around it. I hit it. I was sort of hoping I would just like crunch it because it's snow, but it crunched me instead. Anyway, I was fine. I got home fine, but I over emotionally relate to inanimate objects. I know this, but I was like, I think I was also just I'm weepy. Like I was weepy about my fear always comes out when I'm safe. I'm one of those people who like is very controlled in crisis and very like I'm funniest. I am my funniest when my life is threatened. Like that's my crisis processing. I keep everything moving. I keep people laughing. When I'm home and safe, I fall apart. And so I was just like looking at my sweet little car, my Lucky Penny. We call her Penny, our Lucky Penny. And she's just looking a little bit ravaged in the front. And yeah, and so I'm a little bit shook. And so I was listening to sad music and lying around. But I'm listening to Sharon Van Etten and that song Afraid of Nothing. And it's like sad. Like I think it's I think it's written in a moment in a relationship where it's like, I need you to believe that this will work and then it will work, you know, but you kind of know that the other person doesn't believe. So there's this sadness to it, but the repetition at the end is just, I need you to be afraid of nothing. I need you to be afraid of nothing. And it's such a twisted phrase now that I say it out loud, right? It's like, it's not, I need you to not be afraid.
Yes.
It's it's almost like saying be afraid of the nothing.
Nothingness. Yes.
Like
Yes.
be afraid
Yes.
of the nothingness and the nothingness that is without connection in a way, right? Like
Yes.
be afraid of that nothingness and then like leap towards me fearlessly.
Yeah. I love that. I'm the not be afraid of nothing, but be afraid of nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how you do anything.
Right.
You know, is because the alternative is nothingness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that too. I didn't think of that
Yeah.
until I was mid-sentence. I didn't think of it. I was just sort of wallowing in it. Like, why does this wallow feel so right? That, and I think it is that contradiction in there that because it isn't the pure, all light and positivity, right? Like,
Yeah.
I need you to get out there and pull up your fucking bootstraps. It's like, no, be
Yeah.
afraid of the nothing that could be, you know?
Yeah. Don't make excuses to not connect. It's so
Yeah.
funny that these are what we chose. We didn't discuss this beforehand.
No, we never do. We
But
never
it's
have any
always
idea.
but it's always this. It's always like, oh well, of course. Of
Yeah.
course.
Yeah, it is. It's always the oh well, of course.
Yeah. And hope is a muscle. That's the sort of chant
Mm.
that that ends the Bjork song. It's hope is a muscle and that
Hmm.
helps us to connect.
Yeah. And you know, I'm also just like I'm letting go. I'm letting go of ideas of who I was and
Mm.
playing with totally new ideas for what can be. And I'm also letting go. Like I think part of why I was like TEDx is okay or TED is okay, whatever TED Talks is like I'm a little bit down on the internet rhetoric of like the internet will save us all. Like and I was an early proponent of open source. Like I have been writing that book for probably 2 decades in a way, you know?
Yeah.
And I do believe in it, but I'm just so tired of all of these ways in which we're all I go through, you know, so many YouTube channels and online courses and stuff, and so much it just seems like prosperity gospel stuff. Like we're just selling each other. Like if you could just do these 7 things, then you'll finally have financial freedom. But that person is trying to achieve financial freedom by selling you their course on how to do these 7 things. Like we're all in this like hall of mirrors that is the lie of capitalism, while we're just like killing the planet that was ready to offer us prosperity to begin with. Like it's such a delusion that I'm so tired of.
I was talking to my spouse very recently, but you know the story of the goose that laid the golden egg.
Yeah.
And for those of you who aren't familiar, the very short version is like there's a goose that lays golden eggs, and someone gets so greedy that they figure if I cut open the goose, then I'll have all the magic of gold or whatever they thought. And of course they cut open the goose and that, you know, the goose doesn't lay eggs anymore because it's been slaughtered and there are no more golden eggs. And we were talking about, like I said, off the cuff, but now even more so, I'm really clinging to it. It's like the earth really is the ultimate golden goose. Like it will provide and provide and provide and our not our personally, but like the overwhelming philosophy seems like cut it open, cut it open, get all the gold at once, you know. And I mean, did we learn nothing from this fable?
Right. And then you like land back in your individual moment where like there's so much snow to shovel, or like, most of the pages on your website are broken because your streaming platform changed something and all your embed codes are broken, and you're like, I have to just day to day like tidy and clean up and really lean into the magic of the to-do list, and like just I think of that Leonora Carrington, like, task of the artist, I'm paraphrasing, is to look with one eye through a microscope and the other through a telescope. It's like we have to be able to go back and forth. We can't stay stuck in the giant picture because we'll just be overwhelmed and fall to pieces. And we can't stay stuck in the minutia either, because then we lose our path. So it's like this weird blinking dance, from one eye to the other. And as always, I'm guided by the song I have made of you saying, it's just more shit I gotta do. It's just more shit I gotta do.
It's what?
It's just more shit I gotta do. It's just what. It cheers me up. It makes me feel better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a tattoo. That's how strongly I feel of it.
It's a powerful mantra. Yeah. My like life mantra has been, and I remember being like a teenager lying in I had a basement bedroom, which was like my total safe space and also my total torment. At night, I was so afraid. I was so afraid of the dark. I had such vivid night terrors being in that basement still, just like I feel my stomach drop sometimes, even though it's been all redone. But it was also total freedom. I could paint on the walls anywhere. And I remember lying in the dark and the words coming to me that all I had to do, and I was in total anxiety panic, was keep steady and be kind. And that's been my like touchstone. I repeat it in my life constantly. That's my like core life philosophy, But I'm adding to that it's just more shit I gotta do. It's like keep steady and be kind. And it's just more shit I gotta do.
Yeah, with a semicolon in there.
Yeah.
Keep steady, be kind. I aspire to this as well.
Yeah. I think that's the prescription this week, folks. Small update. I think we have only been releasing these in the newsletter, and we're going to start putting them out on the regular podcast feed just a couple days later. So if you get them in the newsletter and the Missing Witches RX, you'll have them early in time for all your weekend ritual needs with the witches. And if you're just hearing this on the podcast, then go to missingwitches.com and subscribe to the RX.
Yay!
We'll spotlight some of the amazing writing and cool work that's going on the zine and by other people in the coven and around the network. There's going to be all kinds of cool shit in there. So come find us.
Yes. And I will say, before we go, that oftentimes we talk about the music that we're listening to, because that is such a powerful, accessible, and miraculous spell for us. We've been able to turn it around with the push of a button by picking the right song for the right moment. So yeah, if you're a sonic witch too, definitely let us know about your music. We'd love to hear it.
Yeah, and if you're just hearing this on the podcast, in the RX we link out to everything referenced, so then when you get the email you can just kind of rock out in one spot all at once. Don't make excuses to not connect and be freedom.
So laughter is always the number one best medicine and prescription. But if we're going by the music that we talked about today, it's don't make excuses to not connect and be afraid of nothing. We love you.
Blessed fucking be.
Blessed fucking be.